Hi, I'm James Ramsey, Group Product Manager here at GitLab, and I've got 6 exciting features to share with you today for the 12.8 kickoff for the source code group, the Gitaly group, and the Gitter group. So the first feature I've got to share is something that I mentioned last month in the 12.7 kickoff, and it's a new merge-ref-based diff mode for merge request comparisons. And the reason this is important is that when you're working on a feature branch, for example, and it falls behind the master branch, so you're working on a feature for a couple of days and you want to bring the latest changes from the master branch into your feature branch. If you were to merge those in rather than rebasing, next time you push to GitLab, your diff is going to show a lot of confusing things because it's going to show those changes you pulled from master. And the reason is that we use the git diff command as written here, comparing the target and source, which compares using the merge base, which is the common ancestor of those two branches. And so that creates some confusion because really there are changes showing in your diff that are already in the target branch. So that's not very helpful. So the merge ref diff will simulate a merge and show you the new changes, just the changes that you're adding. This is something we've been working on for a little while in preparation for this, also for merge ref based CI pipelines. And in this iteration that we're hoping to add in 12.8, commenting won't be supported and it won't be the default mode because merge requests are really important to the vast majority of our customers, and we want to be somewhat conservative in making sure this solution is really great and sturdy before we make it the default. But all going to plan, you'll be able to see this new mode as a drop down when you're viewing your diff. You'll be able to select between master head and master default, the current mode. So this is a really exciting improvement. Unfortunately, we couldn't start on it in 12.7 because we ended up being blocked by preparation work that didn't ship in time. So this is an exciting improvement that we hope to come in 12.8 to all versions of GitLab. The next item is something I also mentioned in the previous 12.7 kickoff call that the source code group will be working on, which is scoping merge request approvals to protected branches. When you configure approval rules for a merge request, these apply to every single merge request without exception. So if you need a security person to review each merge request, a couple of maintainers, maybe some other sign-off process, every single merge request has to satisfy those requirements. And sometimes that's good, but sometimes it's not really ideal. Perhaps if I'm merging from my own feature branch into a colleague's feature branch, because we're working on the back end and front end of the same feature, and we want to work on 2 different branches, that would be really annoying. Similarly, you might want to actually have different approval requirements for your master branch versus a release branch, because you do your automated release process off of your release branch. So you actually want a release manager to review changes that come in from master into the release branch. And so we wanted to add more flexibility to approval rules, and we wanted to make them less restrictive in the cases where they don't need to be as restrictive. So giving more flexibility to put the controls in a more precise location. And so what this will mean is when you're configuring an approval rule, you can now specify for which target branches it'll apply, either a named branch or using a pattern. So just the same as you would selecting a protected branch rule when configuring those. So this is a really nice improvement. We've actually already finished the back end because, as I said, we were working on it in the 12.7 development cycle. But we're still finishing off the final touches on it in 12.8. So we're very excited for this feature and know that it'll help a lot of customers with their merge request approval process. The next item I'd like to share from the source code group is a proof of concept. So this isn't going to be something that you'll actually get to use at the end of 12.8, but I think it's very exciting. We're doing a spike into adding symbol documentation and jump to definition in the blob view. So this is similar to the source graph integration, but we're looking to try and make some of those features available to all projects public projects on GitLab.com, private projects on GitLab.com, and also self-hosted GitLab instances. We think this is a really great feature. And so we're doing some experimentation, building this proof of concept to better understand the technical challenges in building this into GitLab natively and offering this to everyone. So watch this space. We'll certainly update you in future kickoff calls on where this feature is going and our plans here. But I wanted to share this very exciting project with you. The Gitaly group is going to be working on core Delta islands to improve pack file reuse. We've been working on this a little bit previously. And this is really important for a lot of GitLab servers where there's heavy CI loads. You push a new commit to GitLab and it suddenly kicks off 100 parallel CI jobs. It's really important that this doesn't degrade the performance of the Gitaly node and impact the performance of the GitLab application and other projects on the same server. So we've been looking into this in parallel with our other primary objective at the moment, which is Gitaly high availability. So we're making good progress, continuing to test aspects of that feature on GitLab.com. And I think, yeah, narrowing in on a version that we'll be able to release later in March, we hope. And finally, I've got two very exciting improvements coming in the Gitter group to the Gitter application. The Gitter application is a great place for you to build a community around an open source project, particularly. You can create communities, which is a collection of rooms, and then each of those chat rooms can relate to different projects. So you can provide support to people who use your open source library or application. You can collaborate with other developers who are contributing to your open source project. And Gitter was built initially to integrate with GitHub. But in 12.8, we're looking to add GitLab-based communities. So you'll be able to connect your Gitter community to your GitLab group with your projects that are in that group. And the second part is GitLab project-based rooms. So you'll be able to connect a GitLab project with a Gitter room. And what that means is when you reference an issue using the pound symbol and a number to like reference an issue link or something like that, or a merge request, for example, that'll correctly link to the issue inside of GitLab. There's also a bunch of other improvements that we'll be working on around users and inviting them from GitLab, the people you collaborate with in GitLab, inviting them into your Gitter channels. But yeah, we're really excited about improving the integration between GitLab and Gitter. And there's more to come in the coming releases on this front. So I think some wonderful improvements coming in 12.8. Very excited to see these go live. So keep your eye out for the release post, which is the actual confirmation when these things will be ready to use and try out yourself. But otherwise, I'll speak to you in a month for the 12.9 kickoff. Have a great day.